Welcome to Frontiers and Frontlines. I'm your guide, Sam, and today we're going to look at 10 war movies and how accurate they actually are. Now, this is our third video in this series, and each and every one of these flicks was picked by you, the viewers, from your own requests you put in the comments. Now, I ranked these purely by how many of you called for it and how hard you backed it up. My opinion, it don't even enter into the order. I tallied them, and I'm just going to tell you what's the real deal with each of these movies. Both earlier countdowns are waiting in the description if you want to look at the whole trail. You don't need them to follow along. Just enjoy this flick on its own. All right, soldiers, let's move. The bridge from 1959, it's a picture that had no tanks, but it made you afraid of tanks anyways. Here's what the whole film is built towards. 7 German schoolboys, 16 years old, and they're holding a bridge in April of 1945, and the armor coming out of the fog at the far end of it, when those wooden Shermans finally roll into frame, and that's what they are. Plywood and sheet metal bolted onto civilian truck frames, rubber tires plain as hog in a parlor under the tracks. It don't matter one bit that they're fake, because the camera, it ain't on the tanks. It's on the boys' faces. And these kids are so cooked through with propaganda, they think that holding the bridge is the finest thing that ever happened to them. That look is the horror, not the hardware. West Germany made this in 1959, 14 years after the war. It couldn't borrow a real tank anywhere in the country, so they faked the armor and spent everything real they had on the boys. Then comes the ending that probably no American picture would have had the guts to shoot. He hollers at those kids to quit, just go home, 'cause it's over, and he reaches out to spare them, and one of them terrified boys puts a round in his belly. There's no reconciliation scene. There's just a machine that ate children and is still hungry. And the gut punch button, a German demolition crew shows up to blow the bridge the boys just died for. Nobody told them. Nobody was ever going to tell them. This movie took heavy fire, but it's still standing.
Пойдем, Ханс, пойдем. Ханс, пошли.
Somebody in the comments called Waterloo the biggest movie ever made, and I went and checked. You know what? They really weren't exaggerating by much. The sight of French horsemen breaking like surf around British infantry squares over and over. Thousands of them swirling and finding no way in.
Why are you all standing there like fighting children? What are you afraid of? You call yourselves soldiers? Son, remember that you're a general.
That's the tactical truth of the age. Squares, they stop cavalry cold. Then the artillery comes up and it butchers the squares. Rock, paper, and a whole lot of scissors. No computer's ever matched it because it ain't a computer. The director, he wasn't loaned extras. He was loaned an army. North of 15,000 active duty Soviet soldiers and about 2,000 horse cavalry brigade, and then just turned them loose in Ukraine.
Hard, boys!
That man had no radios, so you know how they move 15,000 men in step? He used the actual 1815 drums and the marching tunes. They broadcast the period across the steppe, and the army obeyed it. Best production solution on the whole list. And my favorite thing in this picture, why it's a mistake. There's a moment where a British square, it breaks and the men run, which never happened. If it had, all those boys would have died. What happened is the Soviet extras got a look at 2,000 horses bearing down on them, and the nerve just went out. They scattered for real, and the director looked at the footage of grown soldiers running from cavalry they knew was fake, and he said, "I'm going to leave that in." Sometimes the truest thing on the film is a thing the director never asked for. All right now, Lone Survivor from 2013, it's a hard one to do. And I want to walk in here carefully because there's men still owed something. 19 Americans died on that mountain in June of 2005. "11 SEALs,
You gotta spread out. Get yourself some real estate.
and 8 Night Stalkers. Most gone in seconds after a rocket hit the Chinook coming to help. That is not in dispute, and nothing I say next touches that. What the picture does better than any film alive is the fall. When these men get pushed off that mountain, the stuntmen, they threw themselves down that rock. And they actually got hurt doing it. Every bone-cracking impact was real, and you feel it in your spine. The comms, they go dead, the radio failing just when they need it, and that's all real too. It's the truest terror, and it's in that movie. But I'd be lying if I skipped the rest. The film pins the SEALs against 50 to 250 fighters.
We're falling back! You mean fall off? Yeah! Fuck!
The after-action report the survivors filed at the time estimated 20 to 35, and Navy and Marine intelligence, they landed on 8 to 10. That ain't a rounding error, friends. The famous vote, the SEALs taking a show of hands on the goat herds.
Leave them, let them go.
I thought you were standing by waiting for your fucking orders.
I am standing by waiting for my fucking orders.
What do you think that radio's for? They're not calling Domino's Pizza.
I know what the fucking radio's for.
The historians who worked that operation say no officer puts the rules of engagement to a ballot. And the original report, it don't even mention it. That village shootout at the end, that also didn't happen. The Pashtun villagers, they did shelter him. They stood on their own code and refused to give him up, which took more courage than any firefight. But there was no gun battle. Rangers, they came and got him. So it's a story where 4 men are surrounded by 10, and it's already worth telling the way it is. The picture didn't trust that. Hollywood, they wanted to show you more. Watch it for the men, but don't take it for the record.
Fucking do it! Huh? Fucking do it, you
I'm gonna cut your head off.
Commence firing. Fire at will. Commence firing. Fire at will.
George C. Scott stands in front of a flag the size of a barn, delivers a speech, and that's it. That man owns you for the next 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I will be proud to lead you wonderful guys into battle anytime, anywhere.
And here's the beauty of Patton's tank action. And it's a joke history played on itself. The German Panzers rolling at the Americans in the desert, well, those are M48s. American tanks, painted with German crosses, borrowed off the Spanish army because real German armor, it was pretty scarce in 1970. And the M48 is called, now get this, the M48 Patton. They fought Patton with Pattons. Now, they did show how Patton was an absolute mobile warfare genius perfectly. This is a man who believed he fought at Carthage in a past life.
2,000 years ago. I was here.
And he's also the man who walked into a field hospital and slapped a soldier for battle fatigue because he couldn't comprehend a wound he couldn't see.
Don't have a yellow bastard sitting here crying in front of these brave men who've been wounded in battle.
The picture, it don't sand any of that down. But here's the crooked timber in the frame. The whole thing leans on Omar Bradley's memoirs. And Bradley, he was a senior advisor on this film.
What are you doing here?
Well, Ike wanted to report on this gasoline business. Meanwhile, I have to stay here at your headquarters as an observer, but I report directly to Ike.
A spy.
Guess who comes off as the calm, decent hand on the tiller while Patton rants? A man writing his own performance review with a camera crew who's got a comfortable job doing it. And that famous line, Rommel, you magnificent bastard, I'll read your book. Well, that never happened.
Rommel, you magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Coppola, he wrote it, and Rommel wasn't even on that field. It's a great line, pure fiction. Half the movies on this channel have got one of these. It's a hell of a portrait. Just remember somebody was holding the brush and had reasons of his own to paint it. They assembled the 35th largest air force in the world to make Battle of Britain back in 1969. Now that ain't no figure of speech, that's a count. 12 flyable Spitfires, 3 Hurricanes in the whole world. Then, no German aircraft left to speak of, so, just like the last movie, they went to Spain, and they got 32 Spanish-built Hinkles and 28 Spanish 109s, painted them up right, and put Spanish Air Force pilots in real dogfights over England. Real airplanes, real sky, real men pulling real G's. There ain't a frame of computer in it because there wasn't a computer to put in it. The purists, they'll tell you the German fighters have Rolls-Royce Merlins under the collar, a British nose on a German body. And yeah, I see it, but show me a better option in 1969 and I'll go buy you a dinner. The strategy, that thing was right too, and it's the strategy that decided everything. They were grinding the fighter command down airfield by airfield, getting close to breaking it.
God's teeth.
And then Hitler switched to bombing London. And handed the RAF the breathing room to get back up. The boot came off the throat and it never went back on.
Everything we've got and get them moving. They've caught us this time.
So where this one sags, it's the ground. The Blitz scenes are stiff and stagey and never once put you in the cellar. It's superb in the air, merely dutiful in the dirt. But those pilots falling asleep in the cockpit before they'd finish rolling out, well, that exhaustion is the truest human thing the picture's got.
On your tail, Jamie.
Full Metal Jacket is half a masterpiece and half an argument, and everybody watching knows exactly which half I mean.
You are dumb, Private Papa. Do you expect me to believe that you don't know left from right? Sir, no, sir. Then you did that on purpose. You want to be different. Sir, no, sir.
The boot camp, it's the finest depiction of military indoctrination I've ever seen put on film, bar none. They take them boys apart in that first half.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! You will not laugh! You will not cry! You will learn by the numbers! I will teach you! Now get up! Get on your feet!
They take away their names, their hair, their privacy. They even take away their ability to be alone with a thought. And then they hand the leftovers a rifle and teach them to love it.
Pray!
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life.
The blanket party, the platoon turning on a weak one because a DI aimed it at them, well, that ain't sadism, that's engineering. And here's the thing, it works, and that's the awful part. Now that drill instructor, he was the real deal. He was a real Marine DI in the 60s who came in as an advisor and walked out with the part. The story goes he improvised every word, but that ain't quite right. He wrote up about 150 pages of abuse for the audition, and about half of what's on screen, it was made up on the day. The other half, well, that was scripted and polished like a boot on inspection day.
You will become dead Marine, and then you will be in a world of shit, because Marines are not allowed to die without permission. Do you maggots understand?
Sir, yes, sir.
Now the second half, the Vietnam half, Kubrick, he wouldn't even get on an airplane, so they shot this in East London. They found a gasworks that the Germans had bombed flat in the Blitz, took a wrecking ball to the rest, and put up Vietnamese signage, and shipped in 200 live palm trees from Spain and probably 100,000 plastic ones from Hong Kong. Now vets say the back half of this film feels cramped, walled in, and just missing the sprawl, and they're totally right. But Kubrick, he wasn't making a documentary about Vietnam. He was making an argument about what the boot camp built, and the back half, well, it's just the invoice coming due.
Show you enough attention when you were a child?
Now, you all voted Enemy at the Gates pretty high. A lot of people wanted to see this one, but I'm going to tell you the truth about it. And the truth, it's a fable inside of a fable. Where the picture earns its footage, it's the sniper craft in the rubble.
155.
Whatever.
The hide and sting, the two-man teams working a sector, the long wait, and the single shot. Now that's real doctrine, still taught today, and it's tense as hell. Just sitting there in the dust and the broken concrete. But the engine of the movie, a Soviet marksman against an elite German super sniper sent from Berlin, well, that shit never happened. Historians went through the records after the archives opened, and there's no such man. The whole duel was Soviet wartime propaganda cooked up to give a freezing city a hero and a villain. The movie filmed the myth like it was in the after-action reports. And the business that makes me maddest? It's the opening. Soviet troops handed one rifle between two men. The second fellow picking up the gun when the first one drops, then machine gun in the back by their own side. Well, that's a hell of a scene, but it's also a Cold War cartoon. By late '42, the Red Army had plenty of weapons. The shortages were the year before, and the blocking detachments sat miles back to catch deserters, not to mow down their own attacking waves. Killing your own men by the hundred is a hard way to win a war. 2 million casualties at Stalingrad, and the movie looked at the ocean of dead and decided what it really needed was a love triangle and a duel.
We'll need you when the war's over.
But if you survive, what will the useless Vasily Zaitsev do then?
I want to work in a factory. My granddad took me to a factory once.
Gallipoli from 1981 opens on a boy running barefoot across the outback. And that's the whole picture in like one shot.
How'd it feel?
All right.
Nine and 5/8.
Everything the war is fixing to take laid out before a single rifle fires. Now, you got a strip of ridge no wider than a tennis court with Turkish machine guns dug in on the far end. Australian light horsemen, they climb out of that trench in waves. That first wave, it goes down in seconds. And that second wave, they watch it happen, yet they climb out anyways. The third wave watches all of that, and they climb out right behind them. And that's the true horror of it all. Now here's a detail that's going to keep you up. Those men went over with unloaded rifles, no rounds chambered. It was an order given so they wouldn't shoot each other in the dark. Bayonets only.
Come on, lads. Unload your rifles. Nothing up the spout. We're going in with the bayonet. No bullets. Unload. Nothing up the spout. We're going in with the bayonet. Steady, lads.
And the artillery barrage meant to soften up the Turks quit 7 minutes early, long enough for every Turkish gunner to climb up, dust himself off, and get back behind his weapon. They charged the guns with empty rifles into an enemy who had earned a smoke break. Now the part that gets me, it's that the movie lets you believe arrogant British officers ordered this thing. Well, they didn't.
I don't care what your watchers say. Mine says they should have gone 3 minutes ago, so send them.
So do you know they're back in the trenches?
I know that, Barton, and I still say you must go.
Steady, lads. Lock to your front, boys.
Yes, sir.
Those orders came from Australians. An Australian brigadier and lieutenant colonel sent those boys up. The officer in the film, well, he speaks with his clipped, posh accent, and the whole world hears a Brit. But that's an Australian accent, the upper crust kind. And the films quietly let 2 generations blame the wrong country for their own dead. Gallipoli is a magnificent film. That freeze frame at the end, the boy hit mid-stride, arms back, still running. It's one of the greatest endings in cinema, but it's also a lie about who pulled the trigger. Alright, let's talk about Band of Brothers. Yeah, I know it's a series, it ain't a movie, but you all voted it in, and I agree with every single one of you. This series is some of the best damn footage ever made. It's 10 hours, so I'm just going to take 2 of the sequences that matter the most, and we're going to start with episode 2. A handful of paratroopers take a battery of German 105s dug into a trench line, and they ain't charging. They work the problem. Base a fire, they flank, they bound, they suppress, then they take the gun and move to the next.
Nicht schießen! Nicht schießen! Ich hab dann Waffen mehr! Bitte! Nicht schießen! No make back! Nicht schießen! Nicht schießen! Ich hab dann Waffen mehr!
It's small unit tactics, run so clean, the military academies still teach it to lieutenants today. That's men doing a hard job right, under conditions that should make doing anything right impossible. And then there's episode 6. You know, the one with the frozen woods. Ain't got no winter gear, their ammunition is just about done, and German artilleries are air bursting in the treetops so the pine splinters come down like shrapnel, which they were. This was actually shot inside an English airplane hangar on a forest built from scratch with paper snow, real explosives, because you can't just schedule a Belgian winter.
Doc, we gotta get the hell out of here. Stay with us, Smokey. Stay with us!
You'll be cold watching this one anyways. But this channel, it don't hand out free passes to pictures we love, and this one earned its asterisk. Band of Brothers, it was built off a book that leaned hard on hero worship. The historian took the veterans' 50-year memories and never went back to check them against the record. So a couple of real men end up on screen as something they weren't.
And, you know, it was a feeling that maybe we're just dumb country people, but where I come from, but a lot of us volunteered.
One of them's Easy Company's own, who gets shown losing his nerve.
He's dead, Private. Did you find Fox Company?
Yes, sir.
Going blind with fear.
You can't see? I think, sir. I can't see a thing.
And dying broke a few years after the war. Well, that didn't happen. The real man took a round in the shoulder, walked away from it.
Here we go again. Covering fire! Covering fire!
Fought again in Korea, came home with a Silver Star, and lived a good life. Another officer, he gets painted as a coward for freezing up in the attack on 4.
Roger, kidnapped Paris. Stand by the 6. Lieutenant, what's the plan? I don't know.
When the truth is, he already earned 2 Bronze Stars, and he broke off that assault because he'd just been hit, not because he lost his stomach for it. But anyways, this here, it's the finest thing ever made about American paratroopers, ever. And that's enough.
Grandpa, were you a hero in the war? Grandpa said no. But I served in a company of heroes.
All Quiet on the Western Front is 96 years old, and y'all put this one at #1 by a mile, and you were absolutely right to do so. Milestone turned 20 acres of California ranch into the Western Front and hired 2,000 ex-servicemen as extras, men who'd done this before. So when the line moves, it moves like men who moved that way before. Then he built a camera crane, and he flew the lens sideways down the length of the trench, right alongside the machine gun as it cut the advancing waves to pieces. Nobody had shot war like that. Everybody has sense. But you know what? It's the crater that finishes you. Paul, he dives into a shell hole, and a French soldier falls in on top of him, and he just stabs him on instinct in like half a second. And the man, he don't die. It takes all night. Paul's stuck down there with him, trying to give him water, talking to him, apologizing. There's no battle going on, no music, just 2 men in a hole, one killing the other slow and can't stop it.
You won't
won't die. No. You won't die. They're only little wounds. You'll get home. You'll be all right. You'll get home long before I will.
What this picture understands, and what pictures a half-century younger still don't, is the betrayal. These boys were talked into it by a school teacher.
You are the knife of the fatherland, you boys. You are the Iron Men of Germany. You are the gay heroes who will repulse the enemy when you are called upon to do so.
Cheered onto the train by grown men who wrote them letters about strategy while they starved. That generational rage, it hasn't aged today because they're still doing it today. Two things you ought to know. That famous final shot, the hand reaching for the butterfly, that actually ain't the lead actor's. He wasn't around for the reshoot, so the director, he stuck his own hand in front of the lens. And in December 1930, the Nazi Party turned loose stink bombs, sneezing powder, even white mice in a Berlin theater to shut the film down, because this country was fixing to do it all again, and they couldn't afford a generation to remember what it cost them the first time. And they were afraid of it for good reason. 96 years on, this movie still has the last word. The first two countdowns we did, they're about to pop up on screen if you want to see them, so go ahead and click them. I also got them in the description. And down the road, we got some Vietnam deep dives coming, plus a breakdown of the best sniper sequences ever shot, which, after today's video, I feel obligated to fact check heavily. So if you want to get notified when they come out, subscribe and like this video, and we'll see you then. Okay, lock and load, partners, and keep the reels a-rolling.